Those of us who came from other parts of the world and became resident in America have always looked at American politics as a product of healthy debates, of open society, of open space, of democratic ideals. But increasingly lately, this debate has become very toxic. Some candidates might go after their opponents at a personal level and not on the issues, because issues should be central to the debate and not personal attacks. So that sort of toxic environment has surprised many of us because, we sought refuge in America, we're looking for a better space, and surely we found it. But with increasing toxicity in the American politics, people have to worry. The thing is, there are two major issues in America that, as a South Sudanese originally myself, see them as problematic. One is, of course, the issue of abortion, which politicians in America have minced their words. They have waxed and wane about their support or their opposition. This has confused people. The most important issue is the economy, where now the current president, Joe Biden, seems to have really given a sigh of relief to the nation by declaring that he was not going to run for a second term, given his performance at the last debate. So the fact that he has made this decision shows that he's a statesman, and people in South Sudan are very much in awe about the statesmanship of Joe Biden for deciding about to favor the future of the nation, the future of the country over his own political aspirations, and asking his vice president to take over. And now the campaign is on track. The meetings in Chicago, the speeches given have been very, very overwhelmingly positive in the direction that some of us wish the country should go.
You're a naturalized American. And some of the issues at the forefront of the campaign affect you in one way or another. What are your projections?
There are several issues with American democracy. The first in my mind, as somebody who came from somewhere else but has found home in America, I worry about American global engagement. And I think this is a serious issue that concerns many of us. It also concerns us that when it comes to economic engagement, even though Africa, for example, has been touted as the next frontier of investment, the American investment system in Africa is geared towards extractive industries rather than injecting capital into local industries. I think that is a major concern for some of us. With regards to these elections and the outcome, whatever it will be, as a South Sudanese, I have this issue where I find South Sudanese split down the middle. On the one hand, there are those who are attached to the historical connection between the Republican Party and the people of South Sudan. Most particularly because of the Comprehensive Peace Agreement, which was sponsored by President Bush, and subsequent support to the secession of South Sudan taken up by President Obama, and then there was fallout between President Obama and the leaders of South Sudan over issues of human rights and war and corruption and so forth. So I think there are two ways to look at the American elections from the perspective of South Sudanese. So there is that uncertainty about which party is better for the future of South Sudan. What will it mean? What will the results of the American elections mean for South Sudan? I think, in my view, it doesn't really make a difference.
Why would you conclude that the results of the U.S. elections makes no difference for the people of South Sudan? I mean, democracy is what is being preached to the people of South Sudan, that they should participate in a democratic election. And here is the birthplace of democracy, where what is going on now is a process of democracy. Why would you say it means nothing for the people of South Sudan?
No, the democratic process itself is very, very important for the people of South Sudan. the actual process of party debates and voting and so forth, and the open space for people to discuss their ideas. That process is very, very important for South Sudan. Indeed, I would say majority of people of South Sudan would wish for that process to be inculcated into South Sudan in the future. But what I meant by no difference in the results is whether a Democratic president or a Republican president would be better for South Sudan in terms of economic support, in terms of lifting of sanctions, in terms of lifting of arms embargoes, in terms of injecting support into institutions, into public institutions, but also into civil society and political parties, so that a vibrant democratic society can be built in South Sudan. That's what I mean. It doesn't make a difference whether it is a Republican or a Democratic presidency. What makes the difference is whether South Sudanese themselves want to emulate the American democratic process, at least those aspects of it that are relevant culturally to the people of South Sudan. I'm not saying that they should wholesale adopt the American system, because democracy is also cultural and local. What I mean is that there are some aspects of the American democratic system which South Sudanese can emulate, can adopt, can really begin to build. Right now, the biggest challenge in South Sudan is the problem of open space, the problem of civic and political space, where people are not free to talk their minds, people are not free, especially in light of the talk of elections within South Sudan. That democratic space is not there. And I think American political system and American democratic system is something that we can take a leaf from.
You've touched on a number of good practices that you think the people of South Sudan should borrow from the American democratic system. But how would you implement democracy in a democratic society or in a police state?
Well, I think the evolution of a democracy is exactly that, an evolution. It is not a single event. And so we say that the more South Sudanese begin to favor a culture of open society, the more likely that the country will evolve into a democratic country down the line. I'm not talking about tomorrow or next year, but over the years, that system can be developed. Most particularly, if there is a chance for South Sudanese to move away from a militarist rule that they are under today into a democratic space where you actually vote for your leaders. Right now, there is no advantage in that, because what is going on in South Sudan is an autocratic military system.